Why do some people work their entire life and still struggle with money, while others become rich even without high education? What if the biggest thing keeping people poor is not lack of money, but lack of financial education? In fact, most of us were taught in school to work for money, but the rich learn how to make money work for them. And that's exactly what one of the most famous personal finance books ever written reveals. Hello everyone, welcome to Money Library, the place where we break down the best books on money, wealth, and success so you can learn powerful ideas in just a few minutes. Today we are going to explore the life-changing lessons from the best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. In the next few minutes you'll discover the difference between assets and liabilities, why the rich don't work for money, and the mindset that separates the rich from the middle class. So make sure you watch this video till the end, because one idea from this book could completely change the way you think about money. Let's get started. The story of two dads. Robert Kiyosaki grew up with two father figures. Poor dad. His real father, highly educated, had a PhD, worked as a government employee, believed in job security, always struggled with money. His advice: study hard, get good grades, find a safe job. Rich dad. His best friend's father. Never finished school, built businesses, became a millionaire, focused on financial education. His advice: learn how money works, build assets, make money work for you. Both men were intelligent, but their beliefs about money were completely different. Lesson 1: the rich don't work for money. Most people work for money because they are controlled by two emotions, fear and greed. Fear makes people say, I need a job to pay my bills. Then when they receive money, greed appears. I want a bigger house, better car, more things. This creates the rat race. The cycle looks like this: job, salary, bills, job, salary, bills. And the cycle continues forever. Rich people break this cycle. Instead of working for money, they make money work for them. Lesson 2: financial education is missing in schools. One of the biggest points in the book is this: schools teach people to work for money, not how to manage it. We learn subjects like math, science, history. But we never learn how taxes work, how investing works, how businesses operate, how assets generate income. As a result, many highly educated people still struggle financially. Kiyosaki says, intelligence solves problems and produces money. Without financial intelligence, money problems never end. Lesson 3: understand assets versus liabilities. This is one of the most famous lessons from the book. Kiyosaki explains money in a very simple way. Asset. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. Examples: rental property, stocks, businesses, royalties, intellectual property. Liability. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Examples: expensive cars, big houses with loans, credit card debt, luxury items. Many middle-class people believe their house is an asset, but if it constantly requires mortgage payments, maintenance, and taxes, then it may actually be a liability. The rich focus on buying assets first. Lesson 4: mind your own business. Most people focus on their profession. For example, teacher, engineer, doctor, employee. But rich people focus on building assets. Your job pays your bills, but your assets create wealth. Examples of assets include businesses, stocks, real estate, content creation, intellectual property. Kiyosaki recommends keep your job if necessary, but build assets on the side. Lesson 5: the rich use corporations. Another important lesson is tax advantages. Employees earn money like this: income then taxes then expenses. But businesses operate like this: income then expenses then taxes. This means businesses can legally deduct expenses before paying taxes. That is why wealthy people often own companies, real estate, investment portfolios. It's not about avoiding taxes illegally. It's about understanding how the system works. Lesson 6: the rich invent money. Kiyosaki explains that opportunities are everywhere, but most people miss them because they say, I don't have money. Rich people focus on creating opportunities. For example, finding undervalued investments, starting businesses, using networks and knowledge. Money is often created through ideas and financial intelligence, not just hard work. Lesson 7. Work to learn, not just to earn. Most people choose jobs based only on salary, but Kiyosaki recommends something different. Choose jobs where you can learn valuable skills, such as sales, marketing, communication, investing, leadership. These skills are more valuable than a high salary. He calls this financial intelligence. Lesson 8. Overcoming fear and doubt. Many people never become financially successful because of mental barriers: fear of losing money, fear of criticism, laziness, bad habits, arrogance. Rich people are not fearless, but they take calculated risks and keep learning. Failure becomes a lesson instead of a reason to quit. Lesson 9. The importance of financial statements. One thing the rich understand very well is how money flows. Kiyosaki explains that many people don't become wealthy because they don't understand their own financial situation. Two important financial statements everyone should know are: 1. Income statement. This shows how much money you earn versus how much money you spend. 2. Balance sheet. This shows what you own that as assets versus what you owe that as liabilities. Rich people constantly analyze these statements to understand where their money is going. Poor and middle class people usually focus only on income, but the rich focus on cash flow. For example, if your salary increases but your expenses increase even faster, you are not becoming richer. But if you increase your assets that generate income, your financial position becomes stronger. That's why Kiyosaki says the rich focus on their balance sheet, while everyone else focuses on their paycheck. Lesson 10. Pay yourself first. Another powerful lesson in the book is the idea of paying yourself first. Most people manage their money like this: income, then bills, then expenses, then savings if anything is left. But the rich do the opposite: income, then investments and assets first, then expenses later. This means whenever they earn money, they first allocate a portion of it toward investments, businesses, assets, and then they manage their expenses with whatever remains. This habit forces you to build wealth consistently. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but over time it trains your mind to prioritize wealth creation instead of spending. Lesson 11. Build multiple sources of income. Most people depend on only one source of income, which is their job. But the problem with this approach is simple. If the job disappears, the income disappears too. The rich, on the other hand, build multiple income streams, such as business income, rental income, stock dividends, royalties, online businesses, and investments. The goal is to create passive income. Passive income means money that continues to come in even when you're not actively working. Eventually, when passive income becomes greater than your expenses, you achieve financial freedom. That means you no longer need a job to survive. Lesson 12. The power of taking action. Reading books about money is useful, but Kiyosaki emphasizes that knowledge without action is useless. Many people read about investing, business, and wealth, but they never actually start. The rich are different because they take action even when they don't know everything. They learn by trying, failing, adjusting, improving. Experience becomes their best teacher. Kiyosaki explains that mistakes are part of the learning process. In fact, many successful investors and entrepreneurs have lost money multiple times before achieving success. But they treat losses as lessons, not failures. Lesson 13. Surround yourself with smart people. Another lesson from the book is the importance of learning from the right people. Rich Dad encouraged Robert to surround himself with people who were smarter, more experienced, financially successful. Why? Because the people around you influence the way you think. If everyone around you believes money is hard to earn, you may start believing the same thing. But if you surround yourself with people who talk about investing, business, opportunities, growth, your mindset will begin to change. Success is often the result of learning from people who are already ahead of you. Lesson 14. Opportunities are everywhere. One of the most inspiring ideas in the book is that opportunities exist everywhere. But most people fail to see them because they are too busy working and worrying about money. Rich people train their minds to look for investment opportunities, business ideas, market gaps, new trends. Sometimes opportunities appear in places where others only see problems. For example, a failing business might look like a risk to most people. But to an experienced investor, it might be an opportunity to buy low and improve it. This ability to recognize opportunities is part of financial intelligence. And like any skill, it improves with practice and learning. The cash flow mindset. Kiyosaki later created the cash flow quadrant, which divides people into 4 groups. Employee, works for a salary. Self-employed, works for themselves. Business owner, owns systems and employees. Investor, makes money through investments. Most people live on the left side, employee or self-employed. The wealthy live on the right side, business owner and investor. The goal is to gradually move to the right side of the quadrant. Core philosophy of the book. The entire book can be summarized in one sentence. Don't work for money. Build assets that generate money. Instead of chasing bigger salaries, focus on financial education, investments, businesses, passive income. Over time, your assets will start paying for your lifestyle. Criticism of the book. While the book is extremely popular, some critics say, some stories may be exaggerated. It oversimplifies investing. Not all assets are easy to build. However, most readers agree on one thing. The book changes how you think about money, and that mindset shift is incredibly powerful. Key takeaways. Here are the biggest lessons from the book. Financial education is more important than school education. The rich focus on assets, not salaries. Assets generate income. Liabilities drain your money. Businesses and investments create wealth. Learn skills, not just job titles. The biggest message of this book is simple. Don't just work for money. Build assets that make money work for you. Now I want to ask you a question. If you suddenly received $1 million today, would you spend it or invest it to create assets? Tell me your answer in the comments below. I read every comment and would love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video and learned something valuable, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend who wants to learn about money. Subscribe to Money Library for more powerful book summaries on wealth, business, and success. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.